I was born in Tampa at St. Joseph's Hospital, where most of my family members were born, and we are fourth generation Tampa residents. I went to school in Brandon, where I grew up. Nativity Catholic School and Church was where I had my junior high years, and then my high school years were at Academy of the Holy Names on Bayshore Boulevard. Then I went to the University of South Florida, and I was accepted into the honors program there, which has kind of its own little track for honors program students, which was nice because I was coming from a very small class in high school, and there was, I think, 68,000 people at USF at the time, but I was put into a much smaller group in the honors program, which felt more like home to me. It felt more comfortable to me since I was used to a smaller setting prior to that. And I absolutely loved it. I had a lot of great teachers and mentors at USF, and I ended up being a dancer for the sports teams there. And then for law school, I went to Stetson University College of Law, which is over in Gulfport, St. Pete area. And that is where I met my partner in life, my partner in law, Josh Sheridan. Growing up, I was always tall, so I ended up in the sports that would kind of utilize that. Basketball, I was a point guard when I was young. I played some softball, volleyball kind of got my interest going, and I was tall for that, so that was great. And I also loved to dance, but I didn't really take up dancing until I was more like 15 years old, and then I got really interested in that. And I actually tried out for the cheerleading team in high school. And in my high school, which is an all-girls high school, a lot of times what we did was cheered for the teams from the all-boy high school. So I did not make the cheerleading team, and I was very upset. That was my freshman year. And then I tried out for the volleyball team at my school, and I did make that, and I ended up having the most wonderful, incredible experience. And by my senior year, I was named a captain and then MVP, and it was all just so wonderful. And I was very grateful, in fact, that I had not made the cheerleading team so that I was able to try something else that I maybe would have not had time for had I been a cheerleader. Then while I was a senior in high school, I tried out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers cheerleaders, so a professional team in the NFL, and I made it, and I was one of the youngest on the team. So it kind of all came around, and I got to do both things. So I have lots of great memories growing up. I'm one of 6 kids. My parents are still together to this day. We had a very close family unit, and kind of my family and my siblings were my friends all through my life. And I loved being with them and doing things with them. I have wonderful friends that I grew up with in my neighborhood also that I'm still friends with to this day. But doing things with my family was so much fun for me and gave me a lot of comfort. I was a shy child, and I really blossomed after high school, but back then I was really shy, so I loved to be with my brothers and sisters. And a favorite memory I have is my dad, who is an orthodontist. He's now retired. He had a very booming practice in Brandon as one of the very first orthodontists to have a practice in Brandon. And every Wednesday night, he would pile up the 4 youngest of us in his 77 canary yellow Corvette. Now, if you know anything about a Corvette, there's only 2 front seats. So this is 4 kids and my dad. And he would take us to Chuck E. Cheese every Wednesday to give my mom a break, which is so sweet of him, and just kind of like how their relationship always has been. But the best part was, and now I look back as a parent and I kind of think, oh my goodness, but at least 3 of us would be sitting in the back, which there is no seat there. It is a glass partition for the back window, and our faces would be pressed right up to the glass. Our legs would be back into the trunk area, and that's how we would ride. No seat belts. This is the 70s and 80s, people, to the Chuck E. Cheese, which thankfully wasn't that far away, and we never had an accident. But here we are surrounded in a fiberglass car, sports car. But I mean, those are the kind of memories that you just love to think about, and it makes you have that warm feeling in your heart, the things that my dad did for my mom and the things that I was able to do with my brothers and sisters as a result. So as an attorney, I started off in the Clearwater or Pinellas County office of the state attorney, and that's kind of where I cut my teeth in the law for the first 4 years after I graduated high school. I did an internship there while I was in law school along with Josh, and they told me at the end of my internship, do not apply anywhere else. We have a job for you, we want you here. So it was a great experience, tons of time in the courtroom, tons of cases, jury trials, dealing with victims, dealing with jurors and judges and lots of other attorneys. So it was just such a great immersive experience in the law. But I am a fourth generation Tampa resident, and I do have lots of family, friends, contacts here in Tampa. And so then once I stopped working at the state attorney's office and came out into private practice, and Josh and I then formed our law firm, it was really nice to start to see faces that I knew here in the Tampa courthouses. And it is a different experience. Every single courthouse has a different vibe. Every single state attorney and public defender and all the judges operate differently. But we've gotten to know so many of them through our time practicing since 2002. It's been a long time. And, but for me, growing up in Tampa and knowing all the people here is really wonderful. And so we ended up buying the building that we're in now for our law practice and expanding it. So we have all of our staff here in our Tampa office, and we also have a St. Pete office that we staff as well. But it's nice to have this building be ours, have all the resources be ours, and everyone here working toward a common goal, which is helping our clients. So my favorite thing about Tampa is really the diversity that's happened, especially in recent years. It's really blossomed, just lots of cultural opportunities, arts, and sporting events. There's just so much that you can do. We have the Strass Center, which I think is the largest performing arts center in the Southeast, and second only to a couple in the larger cities like New York and other cities like that. So we have just really, really cool things to do here, not to mention restaurants and neat hotels and obviously the beaches and everything that you could possibly want. And now that I have children, I really see the plethora of things to do with kids, which is so wonderful. It's hard to have a weekend where there's not something exciting that we can do with our families.